Hi guys, thanks for joining us today on this edition of Back Pain in Golf. And today I've got with me Dan Coughlin, who is the lead physio for England Golf. My name's Nick Jones. I'm one of the regional strength and conditioning coaches for England Golf. And today we're going to talk to you again about back pain in golf. So thanks for joining us. Dan, over to you, mate. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what you get up to, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me along, Nick. Like Nick said, my name's Dan. I'm a physio. I work as the lead physio with England Golf. Alongside that, I work with a lot of golfers outside of England. So I'm on the medical advisory board for the European Tour. So I'm very involved in the professional game. And I work in a clinic day to day as well. So I'm very involved with normal people with back pain, but also golfers with back pain as well.
Good. Mate, I can bet you get loads of people who are recreational golfers, who play with their mates at the weekend, who perhaps, mid-40s, early 50s, something like that, who haven't played golf for a few years, have come back to golf, and then they start getting back pain, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, back pain is a big problem. Lots of people suffer with back pain anyway. And then when we're looking at golfers, golfers put huge forces through their back. So even if you're not a professional, if you are a 40-year-old golfer, average handicap, you're going to be putting about 6,500 newtons of force through your back every time you swing. Now, to put that into perspective, that's only about 20% less than an American footballer going into a tackle. So your 40-year-old average golfer is dealing with some huge forces. And quite often those golfers play golf, but they're not necessarily conditioned for golf. And I think that's potentially one of the big problems that we're dealing with.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Mate, that's great numbers and great stats. Brilliant. I love it. So golfers up and down the country now, after they've listened to this, will be telling their mates, this swing is just 20% less than a tackle in American football. So, that'd be good. Good banter on the course, mate. So,
Yeah.
I guess mine and your role, we work together, mate. We work with lots of the junior golfers who are coming up through England's pathway. I work in the Northwest region, and I coach both the girls and the boys. I also have a number of professional golfers who come and work with me. And what I try and do is two sides of the coin. Develop their physical performance characteristics so they can become better at golf. And what that looks like for golf is usually, can they hit the ball further? Can they hit the ball further with more accuracy is a key component. And are they fit enough to walk around a golf course? Because loads of the guys are playing 36 holes day after day after day. Even one round of 18 is physically taxing, mate, as me and you both know. But, it's a physically demanding sport, which people don't actually think it is. They think, we're just walking around. So we, in the region, we try and make the kids fitter and stronger and more powerful to be able to do their sport really well. And the flip side of that, we try and put into it real practices and approaches to monitor what they're doing and to try and help reduce the risk of getting injured. We're not perfect by no means, because nobody can guarantee 100% you won't get injured. And when injury does occur, that's when we sort of lean upon your skills, mate, in the rehab process, definitely. So give us a little bit of an idea. Ex-athletes that we're working with gets injured, they've got this back pain stemming from golf. What would sort of be your quick 101 guide for the listeners of what they need to do, who they need to go and see, how they need to approach that, mate?
Yeah, I think especially if we're talking about younger golfers for the moment, and although this goes out to anyone, I think the first and the most important thing with back pain in golf is that back pain is normal. Back pain is very rarely serious, and I think too many people worry too much about their backs, when they first get an injury. So and that worry has been shown to affect and change your behaviour, that then can lead to more problems than it solves. So I think the first thing that to do when you start getting a little bit of back pain is relax. Don't worry. Don't make it a bigger problem than it already is, and just go and seek some help. When we're looking at the younger golfer, I think one of the first things we need to just be mindful of is whether they're causing any stress reactions or any changes to their back. Developing people, they're hitting an awful lot of shots with these huge amounts of forces through them. So I think if they've had back pain for a few weeks, they come along to see someone like me, and we'll just do a few tests and we'll try and get an idea of what's going on here. Is there something serious or not? And I think, like I say, most of the time nothing serious is going on. So it's really important to come and see someone to find out that nothing serious is going on. Provided nothing's going on and we don't need to take it more seriously. The most important thing really is just to reduce your golf volumes. Most of the time it's happened because of the amount of golf you've been playing if you're a fairly high level golfer. So reduce those volumes, start thinking about how you're going to structure your practice to lead back into golf. And then just very slowly over a period of time, trickle in a few more shots, a few more games and just build that volume back up. And usually something as simple as dropping the volume and then week on week just slowly increasing it alongside a little bit of help from a physio and or an S&C coach can hopefully bring you back into golf. The big question there though is really rather than how do we fix it, because quite often it is as simple as that. It's if you've had back pain because of golf, what might have caused that so it doesn't happen again? And I think that's really where physio and S&C comes into its own. 95% of back pain will get better in it by itself in 6 weeks. But after that, perhaps we need to have a look at your training volumes, your practice volumes, and try and control that a little bit. Make sure you're practicing well, which might make you a better golfer as well. And I think alongside that, we need to make sure you're strong enough to deal with the forces that are going through your back in golf. Like I said, we know those are big, and that's where someone like Nick comes in, just to make sure that you are strong enough to deal with that.
Good, mate. That's awesome. It's advice. I couldn't put it better myself. I love it, mate. Good. So, big thing, not worry, but go and seek professional advice from a physio who really specialises in understanding golfers and knowing what golfers require to get fit and healthy again. And then also the next step is let's not do it again and reproduce that, and let's do some serious physical training which will help you not get back pain in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that last point is really paramount. I mean, looking at the stats, I quite like stats around injuries and what's going on in golf. And if you look at the European Tour stats, so if you look at the top guys in the game, the European Tour presented some information that between 2005 2006 they had nearly 2,500 injuries, those golfers, and most of those injuries, or the highest prevalence of injury, was lower back, followed by upper back and neck. So we know back injuries are a big problem in the tour players. We also know that about 80% of those injuries that golfers get are overuse injuries. So a huge number of those injuries are back problems, and an even bigger number of those injuries happen because of overuse. And really that means that structuring the volumes is important. But we also know for a fact that overuse injuries can be reduced by about half if you strength train. So if you get strong, your 80% chance, or your 80% of overuse injuries become 40% overuse injuries, and we can drop those injury stats by a big number. So we will still have injuries in golf, but we'll just have a lot less injuries in golf if you're seeing guys like Nick and getting strong.
I like it, mate. Mate, me and you've collaborated on some work that are presented at the England Conference in a few weeks' time, mate, coming up, eh?
Yeah.
But that's on monitoring the volumes of training and competition which golfers are doing, which is really interesting stuff. Nobody really else has done it out there. So we were like leading the way really on that sort of monitoring. But if you're not monitoring, you're just guessing, aren't you, of what you're doing. So
yeah, definitely. It was quite interesting. We saw, I think it was one of your players who picked up a back injury whilst we were doing this monitoring, and we saw the back injury came up. they dropped their golf volumes, and it looked on the data like every time they went to jump their volumes up, they did it a little bit too quickly. They went from nothing to quite a lot, and then you'd see the injury kind of reoccur, so the volumes would drop down, and then they were at first yo-yoing a little bit, weren't they? And how do we control that, and how do we make them sort of step it up a little more slowly? Don't be too enthusiastic just because your pain's started to go.
Yeah, and that applies to like the young golfers that we work with in the England system, right the way up to tour players, but then also applies to the recreational golfer. So, it's sunny weather. We've got 3 days of sun. Let's get out there. Let's hit balls. And then suddenly people wonder why they're in pain, because for the last 3 weeks before that, they didn't hit one ball. So it's that graded approach to training and knowing how much to do and when to do it. Good. Mate, I think this has been, it's been dead informative for me, because you've rattled off some great stats, mate. I love a stat too. So this is good. We should do more of these conversations. If we get good feedback about this video, so if guys are leaving us comments and stuff like that below, I'm sure me and Dan will get together and do another video for you talking about something else. So feel free to suggest that below, whatever that topic may be. This edition's been on back pain in golf. I've been Nick Jones from DNA Sports Performance, and this is
Dan Coughlin from England Golf.
Good stuff. And to find me, it's pretty easy. You just need to Google DNA Sports Performance, and we'll come up. And you can contact me. We do a free session for all our new potential clients that we work with. No commitments. Come in, do one session with us, and see if you like training with us, and all will be good from there on forward. So the place to find that again is DNA Sports Performance, and you can just Google that and find it, and I'll probably put the link up on the page here. Dan, where can the guys find out and contact you?
Yeah, you can get in touch with me on my website, which is danielcoughlin.com. So that's danielcoughlin.com. There's a contacts box in there, and you can just send me a message, and I'll get back pretty quick. So if you need anything, just fill that in and send it off. And again, I'm sure Nick will put a contact to that in the bottom as well.
Good, I like it. So guys, thanks very much for being with us on this edition of a video podcast that we do on back pain in golf. So speak to you all again soon.